Some people walk into a room and do almost nothing, yet everyone feels them. Not because they are louder, not because they are more attractive, not because they demand attention, but because there is something settled in them that the world cannot easily shake. And here is the part most people miss. An unshakable aura is not something you perform. It is not a trick of posture, a carefully chosen sentence, or a cold expression designed to look powerful. It is what remains when you stop begging the world to confirm your worth. That is why so many people spend years trying to look strong while still feeling fragile inside. They learn how to speak with confidence, how to dress well, how to appear calm, and yet one awkward comment, one rejection, one moment of being ignored, and their center collapses. Real presence is different. Real presence does not crack that easily. If you have it, you may not even notice it in yourself at first. In fact, the people who carry the strongest aura are often the least obsessed with proving that they have one. So let us look closely, not at performance, not at charisma in the cheap sense, but at the quieter signs that your presence has roots. The 10th sign is this: you do not rush to fill silence. Most people are terrified of silence. The moment a conversation pauses, they scramble to rescue it. They explain too much. They laugh too quickly. They throw words into the air because silence feels like failure. But a person with an unshakable aura does not panic when nothing is being said. They understand that silence is not always emptiness. Sometimes it is composure. Sometimes it is thoughtfulness. Sometimes it is proof that you are not desperate to control how every moment is being received. When you can sit in silence without shrinking, people feel that. It tells them you are not performing for approval every second. Think about how rare that is now. In a world full of noise, constant updates, constant opinions, constant explanation, the person who can pause without fear feels almost mysterious. Not because they are hiding something, but because they are not leaking nervous energy everywhere, and that calm becomes memorable. The 9th sign is that you do not need to win every room. This one is subtle. Weak ego wants domination. Strong presence wants steadiness. There is a difference. People who are insecure often feel they must become the funniest, smartest, or most impressive person in every space they enter. If they are not leading, they feel smaller. If someone else shines, they feel threatened. But when your aura is unshakable, you do not enter every room like a soldier looking for territory. Sometimes you lead. Sometimes you observe. Sometimes you let others speak. Sometimes you remain nearly invisible. And strangely, that makes people trust your power more, not less. Because the strongest person in the room is often the one who is not fighting to prove it. There is a kind of authority that grows quieter as it becomes more real. Have you noticed that? The people most desperate to look important are usually the ones least at peace with themselves. The 8th sign is that criticism does not instantly rearrange your identity. Now, let us be honest. No one enjoys criticism. Even mature people feel it. Even wise people feel that little sting in the chest. But there is a great difference between feeling criticism and becoming it. When someone questions you, rejects you, or misunderstands you, do you immediately begin doubting your entire worth? Or do you remain rooted enough to examine it without collapsing? An unshakable aura comes from inner structure. You may listen, you may reflect, you may even change, but you do not hand a stranger the keys to your self-respect. You do not let one opinion rewrite the whole story of who you are. That is why some people seem calm under pressure. It is not that they believe they are perfect. It is that they are not made of glass. Their self-image is not so weak that every outside voice leaves a crack, and people feel safe around those who are not that easily broken. The 7th sign is that you are comfortable being disliked for the right reasons. This is where many people lose themselves. They would rather be accepted in a false version of themselves than rejected in an honest one. So they soften their opinions, hide their standards, betray their boundaries, and slowly become strangers to their own soul, all for the temporary comfort of being liked. But an unshakable aura is built on self-respect, not universal approval. You understand that if you stand for anything real, some people will not enjoy it. If you tell the truth gently but clearly, some will prefer your silence. If you protect your peace, some will call you distant. If you stop overgiving, some will call you selfish. And still, you remain steady. Not cruel, not arrogant, just clear. That clarity is powerful because it cannot be bought with applause. The world has seen enough people who change shape every time they enter a new conversation. The one who keeps their shape is the one who leaves an impression. The sixth sign is that your energy does not chase. You can feel when a person is chasing validation, chasing attention, chasing love, chasing status, chasing reassurance. Even when they smile, there is a tension in it. Even when they speak kindly, there is a hidden request underneath it that says, "Please confirm that I matter." But people with an unshakable aura have learned something difficult and beautiful. They stop forcing life to answer their insecurity on demand. They still care, they still desire, they still love, but they do not cling with both hands to every outcome. This changes the way they move through the world. They do not send 5 messages when 1 is enough. They do not explain themselves for 10 minutes when 2 clear sentences will do. They do not overextend just to keep a place in someone else's life. There is a quiet dignity in that, and dignity has a presence of its own. Now, here is the part most people misunderstand. This does not mean becoming cold. It does not mean acting detached so others will value you more. That is still performance. Real non-chasing comes from knowing that your worth does not rise and fall with immediate response, immediate attention, or immediate reward. The fifth sign is that you listen more deeply than most people speak. There is a kind of presence that does not come from saying impressive things. It comes from making others feel that, for a brief moment, they are fully met. Not managed, not rushed, not scanned while you wait for your turn to speak. Truly heard. People with strong aura often develop this without trying. Because they are not so consumed with their own image, they have space to notice. They hear the hesitation in a voice. They notice when someone's smile arrives half a second too late. They sense when confidence is real and when it is armor. This is not manipulation. It is attention. And attention is a rare form of respect. When you listen like that, your words gain weight. Why? Because people can feel that you are responding from presence, not from habit. A careless mind speaks fast. A grounded mind observes first. That is why some quiet people are more influential than loud ones. Their words are fewer, but they land. The fourth sign is that you do not advertise every battle you are fighting. There are people who turn every pain into a performance. Every inconvenience becomes an announcement. Every inner struggle becomes part of a public identity. And of course, we all need support. We all need honest conversation. We all need somewhere to be human. But there is another kind of strength, the kind that carries itself with grace even while carrying weight. An unshakable aura often belongs to someone who has suffered more than you realize, yet has not made suffering their entire personality. They do not wear wounds like decorations. They heal with privacy, reflection, and patience. This does not mean suppressing emotion. It means you are not seeking identity through damage. You do not need the world to witness every crack in order to believe your pain was real. There is depth in people who can say, "Yes, life has been difficult, but difficulty did not become my name." And that depth changes the room around them. Because most people are used to emotional chaos, emotional leakage, emotional theater. Quiet resilience feels different. It feels expensive. It feels earned. The third sign is that you respond instead of react. This may be one of the clearest signs of all. When something provokes you, what happens? Does your mouth move before your mind does? Does your mood become a puppet of every inconvenience? Does one rude tone, one delayed message, one small disappointment drag your whole nervous system into chaos? Or have you learned the art of the pause? An unshakable aura is often nothing more glamorous than a well-trained inner world. A person has been upset many times, disappointed many times, insulted many times, and slowly discovered that reaction is easy, but response is power. So they breathe, they wait, they choose. They refuse to let every passing emotion take command. This matters because emotional control is visible. People can feel when you are ruled by impulse. They can also feel when there is a calm intelligence between your feeling and your action. That space is where dignity lives. That space is where maturity lives. And in a culture that rewards instant outrage, that kind of restraint feels almost noble. The second sign is that you do not need constant recognition to keep going. This is a lonely test of character. Many people can work hard when they are praised. Many can stay disciplined when someone is watching. Many can remain committed while the results are visible. But what happens when no one notices? What happens when the room is quiet, the reward is delayed, and your effort receives no applause at all? This is where false confidence usually fades. It was never built on purpose. It was built on feedback. But people with an unshakable aura continue anyway. They read when nobody sees them reading. They improve when nobody claps. They keep promises to themselves even when breaking them would be easy and invisible. That creates a special kind of force in a person because their discipline is no longer rented from the outside world. It belongs to them. And when you meet someone like that, you can sense it before they tell you anything about their life. There is substance in them. Their confidence is not made of compliments. It is made of evidence. Private evidence. The kind gathered in quiet hours, unseen decisions, and difficult mornings. Now we come to the first sign, the strongest sign of all. You no longer feel the need to prove yourself to people committed to misunderstanding you. There is immense freedom in reaching this point. For many years, people exhaust themselves trying to explain their heart to the wrong audience. They argue with every false impression. They defend every choice. They chase closure from people who have already decided not to see them clearly, and in doing so, they give away their peace. But an unshakable aura begins the day you understand something simple. Not everyone will understand you. Not everyone is supposed to. Some people meet you through the lens of their own insecurity, their own pain, their own assumptions, their own needs. If you spend your life trying to control every interpretation, you will become a prisoner of other people's minds. So, you stop. Not out of bitterness, out of wisdom. You still communicate when it matters. You still clarify when it is honest and useful. But you stop auditioning for respect from those who enjoy withholding it. You stop over-explaining your intentions to people who benefit from misreading them. You stop treating your worth like a courtroom case that must be argued every day. That changes a person deeply, because when you are no longer addicted to being perfectly understood by everyone, you become available for a calmer life. You speak more simply. You choose your company more carefully. You save your energy for what is real. And there is almost nothing more powerful than a person who has stopped begging to be seen correctly by those determined to see them poorly. This is the plain psychology beneath it all. Human beings are constantly scanning for stability. We read each other more than we admit. Tone, timing, emotional control, desperation, patience, posture, the way someone handles silence, the way they handle tension, the way they behave when attention disappears. all of it communicates something. When a person is deeply dependent on outside approval, their behavior becomes fragile. Small changes in the environment create large changes in their emotional state. They become easy to shake because too much of their identity is outsourced. But when a person builds identity from inner values, repeated action, and self-respect, the nervous system begins to settle. The mind stops swinging so wildly. Presence becomes more consistent. That consistency is what many people call aura. Not magic, not superiority, not some mystical gift reserved for a chosen few. Very often, aura is simply what composure looks like when it has been practiced long enough. It is self-trust made visible. It is pain that has been digested instead of displayed. It is confidence without noise. And perhaps that is the most comforting part. If these signs are missing in you today, they can be built, slowly, quietly, honestly. Every time you resist the urge to over-explain, you build it. Every time you keep a promise to yourself, you build it. Every time you choose response over reaction, truth over approval, dignity over chasing, you build it. No one wakes up one morning with an unshakable aura fully formed. It is carved over time, by disappointment, by reflection, by boundaries, by solitude, by choosing not to abandon yourself just because the room did not immediately reward you. So if you have been feeling invisible lately, do not make the mistake of thinking louder is the answer. Often it is not more noise you need, it is more center, more inner structure, more peace with who you are when no one is applauding. Because the people with the strongest presence are rarely the ones trying hardest to be felt. They are the ones who have learned to remain whole in a world that keeps trying to pull people apart. And once you learn that, your life changes in a quiet way first. You stop chasing. You stop begging. You stop bending. Then one day, without announcing it, you notice something. Rooms feel different. Conversations feel different. Even your own mind feels different. Not because you became someone else, but because you finally stopped leaving yourself behind. Tell me honestly, which of these signs have you started to see in your own life?